Hey there, friends. In case any of you are out there Saturday night, I'm not going to be on here for very long because the mosquitoes in South Louisiana are a little rough. So I am kind of chilling out right now. I had kind of put together a format, a mild template, if you will, for a live stream. And I'm sorry, I got my television on in the background over here watching a college football game. But I was working on some stuff to try to, finalize a pretty cool way to do some live streams going forward. And of course, it sent out a warning or a message to everybody saying that I was going to be going live. So that's why I came on here, because I was like, man, I don't want people to think that I'm putting something out there to go live and then I don't go live. So I wasn't intending to, I guess is my point. But now a lot of you guys have reached out to me on Facebook, YouTube. It's really weird how all that works. Folks have reached out to me, are like, hey man, aren't you going live? And you haven't gone live yet. So that's why I'm going live right now. A couple of small things to kind of go over. Guys, if you don't know, I have a pretty cool new shirt out. You can go to ballisticink.com for those shirts. I've got a couple of new ones coming out. But also I wanted to talk a little bit kind of outside of the gun area. Pertaining to the gun area, I did just upload a video a little while ago. It's on the Uvalde DPS law enforcement officers that for some reason were still hired by the school district, even though they knew that they had failed and chose not to protect children. They were actually hired to protect children. I don't understand how you hire somebody to protect children whenever they have already failed to show that in the exact same job they can't protect and won't protect children, I should say. So nevertheless, I put that video out earlier and it's getting a pretty strong response out there, which I'm glad it is, because I wanted to wake some eyes up, or wake some folks up and open some eyes, I should say. I still have a real problem with that whole Uvalde thing. I also wanted to mention briefly about some of the Ukraine stuff going on right now. Guys, I don't watch a lot of like regular news, mainstream news. I just don't, because it's usually garbage. It's usually opinion pieces, and it's almost always not actual news. Like when you watch it, you really got to try to decipher what the real message is, or actually what the real news is, because they're sending it with a message. So you have to ignore the message so you can figure out what the news is. So I haven't really been involved in what's going on, because usually now when I hear Ukraine, I just ignore it, because it just makes you mad when you think about it, because we've sent so many billions of our own hard-earned money over there, and for what? They're a corrupt country. We know the money's not all being used just to fight the war. People are lining their pockets with it. Our own politicians are embezzling that money. It's just a shame to see how much of our hard-earned money we can send to another country to protect their border when we could care less about our own border south of us. And I mean that as a government. Obviously, we care about the border. I'm down here in South Louisiana. I'm really close to the southern border, and I see it. I see a lot of the mess going on, and I see the people that just flow through without any problems whatsoever. And we won't spend a penny to secure that, but we'll give billions upon billions for somebody else. And that bothers me. I think it should bother all of us. F.U., thank you, man. I appreciate that, buddy. You know my feelings on that. I appreciate it, but I don't expect it. But thank you so much for the donation, buddy. Appreciate that. I will buy ammo with it, I promise you. So nevertheless, the Ukraine stuff is crazy going on right now, okay? So we have a pipeline, a Russian pipeline. According to your boy Biden, we have done all kinds of stuff to stop the flow of money to Russia, to try to put a stranglehold on him as far as funds to fight his war with Ukraine. Yet we think Putin has something to do with blowing up Putin's pipeline. I'm pretty sure it was us. It may not have had a United States logo on the side of whatever was used to blow that pipeline up, but you can bet we had a hand in it. And then was it yesterday or early this morning? One of those major bridges between Russia and Crimea was also bombed. Had to be us. We know Russia didn't do it. That was their way to get straight to Crimea, a area that Barack Obama gave them, gave Russia. In other words, Russia just said back when Obama was in office, we're going to take Crimea, even though it was a part of Ukraine, and nobody did anything, which I'm not saying that we should have. I'm just saying it seems like all this stuff happens whenever those guys are in office. Again, not necessarily making it a political thing. It's just very odd how they seem to be okay with Ukraine taking all of our money, but they're also okay with Russia taking all of Ukraine. I've never seen something so crazy. I mean, our federal government bends over backwards to give Ukraine whatever they want, but at the same time, they bend over backwards letting Russia take whatever they want over there. So it just makes no sense unless it's that cycle that they enjoy being a part of, that cycle of having a war that they can spend money on, because obviously in the heat of war, you have lots of money changing hands, so it's easy to embezzle money and make profits off of it. That goes for governments and private people. So maybe that's why. Maybe they need wars in order to continue making money. So just weird how the stuff that's going down right now over in Crimea and Russia. Very, very strange. I don't know if it's foreign actors, who's doing it, who's doing what, but nothing happens without the United States or the CIA knowing about it or being involved in some kind of way. So very, very strange. Again, I don't plug myself into local or even worldwide news events anymore because it's so tainted with opinions. But I did notice over the last week that there's been a pretty massive uptick in the weirdness going on in that conflict over there between Ukraine and Russia. And look, we've got winter coming up. Their winters are not the tamest winters in the world over there. So, that may be coming up and playing a part somehow in some of all this. So just weirdness going on, guys. Strange how things that we're seeing right now. Let's see, what else did I want to mention? Oh, I did get the Palmetto State Armory Jackal in. That's their own. It's essentially the upper receiver that they redesigned with. It's more of an AK style charging position on top of it versus the AR, but it will sit on top of an AR upper. So I'm looking forward to running that thing too. That's going to be pretty interesting as well. Let's see, what else do we have to talk about? In the gun world, things are quiet, relatively quiet right now. I shouldn't say quiet, because I was kind of surprised to see, not from a political standpoint, but just from a targeting standpoint, that the Everytown for Gun Safety, Michael Bloomberg's organization, that they spent $1.4 million on ads in Georgia to try to smear Herschel Walker because they want to get their radical Muslim Warnock reelected. And he is a radical Muslim. I'm not saying that to pick on the guy, and I'm not saying that to talk about Muslims. He's a radical Muslim. He just is. And they are trying to smear Herschel Walker. And I was a little shocked that an anti-gun organization led off in their commercial, their $1.4 million worth of commercials in Georgia. They're making it about abortion. Of course, they're faking it. They're lying about it. They're saying about it's women's reproductive rights, which is so stupid to call abortion women's reproductive rights, because it's literally the opposite of reproducing when you kill a baby in the womb. That's literally not reproducing. By definition, it is not reproducing. So, very strange that they did that. I mean, their commercial starts off talking about Herschel Walker and talking about abortion. And it's a commercial solely paid for, in a full-blown campaign paid for by an anti-gun organization. So very, very weird how they do that. You usually don't see that. You'll see like a pro-abortion organization will run pro-abortion commercials, or an anti-abortion organization will run anti-abortion commercials. An anti-gun organization will run a anti-gun campaign talking about how, the way I would see they would do this is talk about how Herschel Walker doesn't care about, kids in schools. That's the lies that they make up all the time. Oh, you don't care about kids in schools if you don't want to ban AR-15s. That would be the focus that I would expect an organization like Everytown to take, not one about abortion. So really strange there how that took place. I'm not sure if makes you wonder if they didn't get some government incentives, because the government right now is really focused on cracking down on anything that's viewed as anti-abortion. More notably, I don't know if you guys saw the video. I'll put it out tomorrow. I'll put the raw video out if I can find it. It's not gun related, so I really struggled about putting it up there or not. But the FBI raided a person's home. There were 11 people who I believe were indicted on a abortion clinic protest. And I have not seen the video. The video was live streamed of the actual protest, but they state that there was physical encounters during the protest, and now they've decided to go ahead and indict the 11 people. They picked one of them up at his house, and his wife is seen videoing these sloppily looking dressed FBI agents that are way out of shape, have their plate carriers well below where they should be. You can just tell that they lack the experience and expertise to be actual good folks. But it's very strange how the Biden administration has weaponized all of the bureaucratic agencies out there, including the FBI, not to mention the ATF, and how those guys have really, I don't want to say gone rogue because they're following the orders of the White House, but the freaking White House is going rogue. They are taking upon themselves to make these organizations carry their water and do it so tyrannically that it's unbelievable to see this. I mean, I never would have expected to see that. And it's crazy that these guys that are working for these alphabet agencies are going along with this stuff. Blows my mind to even see that. I'll upload the video just from a freedom standpoint tomorrow because it's not gun related, but it very well could be. I mean, as much as they hate us for being law-abiding gun owners, don't think that they won't be knocking on our door for something stupid and do the same thing. So it used to be that you could protest at some of these abortion clinics apparently, and they passed what they call the FACE Act. Now the FACE Act makes it illegal to, I won't say protest, but it makes it illegal, I think, to block people now from being able to walk. In other words, you could do a human blockade where you just stood there, not physically confronting people, but just standing there where they can't get through you unless they force their way through you. I think that now, like a human chain now has been made illegal with some of these laws that they have. So kind of strange how that took place. Just shows, again, a massive overreach by the FBI. I understand if you're breaking the law, how you do it, but it's just kind of strange to me that, somebody like when Jeffrey Epstein was actually captured, they didn't do it with guns drawn. They didn't do it with plate carriers. They didn't draw their weapons on him. They didn't bang on his door. They met him on the tarmac somewhere and quietly and politely put their arm around him and coaxed him into an unmarked car and drove him politely to whatever location they had to, whenever they actually had proof and knew that this man was trafficking women and young girls and getting them raped and taken advantage of. They actually knew that, and they treated him much better than they did somebody who simply stood in the way of people who were going to get an abortion. Very, very upside down world that we're living in right now, guys. So folks, again, I mainly wanted to come on here to let you all know that that it wasn't a false, it kind of was a false alarm earlier. I was tweaking some stuff, working on some behind the scenes stuff for live streams, and I didn't realize that it sent out a notification saying that I was going to be live tonight, and I didn't want to leave everyone hanging, wondering what was going on, anything like that. So I apologize for that false alarm, if you will. So that's why I wanted to take the opportunity to visit with you all just for a minute. Thank you guys for hanging out tonight. I know it's a Saturday night. Hopefully you're spending it with your families, your friends, and having a good time tonight. Please be careful, be safe. I want to see you guys at the next live stream. May try to do a live stream tomorrow afternoon. More than likely, I have somebody else coming by my place tomorrow to have some discussion about some YouTube stuff. But depending on what time that meeting ends, I'm hoping to do a live stream tomorrow. So hopefully we can get that going. I'll be a little bit more organized tomorrow, a little bit more professional than this. I'm literally sitting on my back patio watching college football on a TV outside and drinking a beer. So guys, have a great evening. Love your families, man. Love your friends. And have a good evening. Enjoy yourself. Be safe. And I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Thanks, fellas and women.